Funny guy.
Welcome back to MMA Breakdowns and Bets. I'm Santino DeFranco. This is Brandon Olivas.
We're here to discuss fights, and
we're here to discuss fights. There'll be zero humor in this at all.
Yeah.
You know, so I noticed in fight number one today.
Well, the technical breakdown. Let's get to the
Yes,
evidence. Let's get to the analytics.
To going stats.
Wait, too loud.
Fighter A, just 82% takedown defense. So I don't know how B is going to win at all. Fighter A is my pick.
According to the numbers, more significant strikes, and you know how damage is scored these days.
I like a -318 favorite right here. It's chalky, but you know there is some value in the goes to decisions.
Good for 0.318 units.
I like that. It's unit size. It's all about unit size.
Bankroll management. All right, guys, we're back.
We're back. A lot of people give us shit for either not taking stuff too seriously, or not having a sense of humor, or then being too serious, or I jumped too high, it was too low. I don't know.
The show is the way the show is, and you guys all tune in because the show is the way that it is. We don't try to force it. It just is how it is.
It is what it is.
What's funny is I was thinking about this today. Sorry, and you know, our monologue's gonna be too long too.
Oh boy, just timestamps.
God, half you guys are miserable at work. Don't you guys want a longer intro? What the fuck? Yeah. You're going to listen to a 45-minute fight breakdown and then go back to your miserable fucking job? Why don't you let us talk for 20 minutes? Who gives a fuck?
I got to get that memo in. Oh, I hope he hurries up and gets to fucking Diane
Thomas Peterson.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I cannot fathom that they're talking about something that's not Thomas Peterson fight number one right now. -118.
You know, this shit's funny to me is everybody on the show has watched me like grow up.
Yeah.
You know, from the first time that we started this.
Oh yeah, just first
No. Remember when I first started this? First of all, I had hair side of my head. First started this, bald every week, and I was like, guys, look how much I know. Oh my god. So now we just go on vibes. Now we just go on vibes. But you know what's funny is I'll post some shit like this was the funniest comment to me. I said something the other day. I was like, I gotta quit dating for people from the gym. Someone responded and goes, please don't. For my own selfish thing, I like to hear about it on the podcast. So please don't. More
the better.
Yeah. So you guys have watched me grow up, watched me go through a lot of phases.
Quiet phase, loud phase. You know,
happy, sad, everything in between.
Yeah, every which way.
I just put a brave face on front of the camera.
Man, we do have another shitty Apex card, which we will get to in a minute. But I had a wild week last week.
You got some nuggets that some news outlets can pick up and blow up?
No. Fucking mum's the word today, man.
Tracy shit herself to make weight or something? What
Tracy
happened?
was, you know, she took the fight last minute. She was supposed to fight Miranda Maverick this week. And so it wasn't like a last minute like thing.
It's a week
she wasn't in camp, but it was a week early. And so her just scheduling on dieting was, you know, a week early and whatever. And then just the opponent, Rose, man. Rose is a very tricky opponent. And after during the fight, you know, there's some times when I was saying in between rounds, I said, hey, just stop being on the outside. Like you're feinting and doing stuff, but she's not baiting, just march her down and go. And then, you know, Tracy found some success later in the fight and, you know, she lost. Hats off to fucking Rose. Rose is a G. You know, and after the fact, Tracy was like, gosh, I gave her too much respect too early. And I just was, you know, watching. And then eventually she's like, when I started fighting, it was better and just too little, too late type of thing. Hats off to her for a few things. 5-round fight, first 5-round fight.
She looked better as the fight went on too.
Yes, she is a 5-round fighter. And she fought in Colorado. She went up 2 weeks before the fight.
I went up there with her.
You went up there with her.
Yep.
The cardio, as you said, even day one, you're like, it didn't affect her at all. Like day one, you were there doing stuff and you're like, she's not tired at all. None of it.
So I wanted to share this just for UFC bettors or whatever like that. I had for so long put a lot of credence to the altitude.
Yes.
And the reason that I did was because I went there one time. I was trying to, someone else didn't like this either, lay my dick on the table. Like too much dick on table references. Okay. But I kind of actually mean that. Like, you know, you're going to go hard.
Try to throw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can,
so I was rolling with my uncle who I hadn't seen since I was a teenager. And then the professor of the gym. And obviously I'm going to go hard because, you know, like that's just what you do. And I just went so hard with them. And then if you go all out for 10 minutes straight, you're going to be tired no matter where you are.
Yep.
Add the altitude, a little more tired. And so I just thought about that in my mind, but fighting isn't always going hard. It's taking breaks, it's seeing things, it's moving. And so I was running a lot before I left for Colorado, and the heat was killing me. Even yesterday sparring, like back in the heat, I'm so much more
hard, right?
So much more tired from the heat. We got to Colorado. I was running 5 miles faster than ever before, never getting tired. I was doing all the drills with Tracy, just letting her beat the shit out of me. Didn't get tired. She never got tired. And I thought to myself, like, man, there's a lot of conspiracies, right? You got JFK. You got the Trump assassination attempt. I know you're, devastated. That was your 9/11 personally. You got the moon landing, all kinds of conspiracies. Up there should be Colorado altitude.
Maybe, because I do think that we did see, I think C-Rod got altituded, and I think he got weight classed out.
He looks so small. I keep saying this. He's a 35. He's not a 45er.
I talked to him after the fight, and it's funny because I actually, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I texted him, said, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Say, you up?
No, I turned. So I was walking we were eating some food, just some pizzas in the lobby with Tracy and the whole crew, and they were getting ready to like hang out and do stuff. And I was like, for that reason, I'm out, because I don't like, I'm not going out. I'm not going to a club. I'm not partying. I'm not anything after a fight. I go to bed, I drink a beer, and I go.
You don't want to listen to Tracy's reggaeton until the wee hours of the morning?
I was like, I'm out. So I walk over to the elevator, and I'm not kidding. I text C-Rod. I walk around the corner. There's C-Rod and his girlfriend. I was like, oh, hey. And so we were just talking, on the way up, and he was on the same floor. So we are just, going up and moving, whatever. And he said, man, I hit him with everything. And he just stood there looking at me and just walked me down. He was like, it was just shocking. But I said it, we were watching the fight, and about 2 or 3 minutes in, I actually said to, I think it was Eddie, I said, look at how red he is. Like, his whole body was really red. And then, of course, he kind of jumped in. He's like, man, that choke, it just was so tight, so fast. And when you're, it's almost like in gi jiu-jitsu, if you've ever trained, or even in no-gi, somebody's really sweaty and they're like wet shirt is smothering you, and you kind of panic. It's just you're like being waterboarded.
Literally the smother.
Yeah. And I think when you're like that, like exhausted, and you're breathing like that, and you can't catch your breath, and it's so chaotic, and then somebody gets a choke, you tap it. It's just a lot.
It's a panic
to deal
tap.
with. Yeah, it's a little bit. So I do think the altitude is a thing, because we've seen it, but there are different levels of altitude. And I went to grad school in Flagstaff, and Flagstaff is 7,000, 7,200, depending on where you're at in the city. And when I went up there, that was insane altitude. And the difference of Flagstaff, which is 7,000, 7,200, to Denver, which is 5,200, is a significant difference. So I reference that because Mexico City is around 7,000, 7,200, and there are some high altitude places. Salt Lake City is at altitude, but it's about 42 to 4,500. And then New Mexico, Albuquerque, and Colorado are both around 5,000, 5,200. So there's definitely different levels to that. Anyway, we got off on the altitude tangent, but Tracy did well. She looked good. Very proud that she did it, and she shot her shot. You know what I mean?
That's
she
what
shot
matters.
her shot,
like, I'm proud of her for doing that.
The weight cut was hard because she, she was on schedule for this week, but she had to mix it up and do stuff there. And
I won't say the weight, but I was with her, and then I ended up leaving Tuesday of fight week. And I think Monday we were at the house, and she comes up to me. And she's like, I'm this weight. And she was expecting me to be like, nice. I'm really proud of you. That's awesome. And it was pretty high. And I'm like, I'm a lot bigger than you, Tracy. And when I fight 125, same weight class, I'm 6 pounds lighter than you on fight week. Yeah. So I was trying to be I was trying to be positive. And I was just oh, that's awesome. Great stuff. So I knew there was going to be some kind of friction.
Everyone was panicking. The other coaches, owner of the gym, everyone was like, is she going to make weight? Is this? And I'm like, dude, I'm not even.
She's a gamer. You said this about her all the time. And, one thing about her is she is extremely positive, almost so much where I was like, dude, shut up. Let Like, be a little mad or something. I don't know.
No, she's a gamer. She knew what she was getting into. I knew she was going to make weight. There's some weirdness on the scale and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into details because people just take it and say weird shit. But it actually wasn't weird. There actually wasn't weirdness.
She went to the bathroom.
If I explained everything and just stuff, you'd go, oh, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. But they only see what they know. And
well, let's address the elephant in the room for a second. Is that hair for sale?
I think she's donating it.
To whom?
To like one of those hair charity places. Like that they do stuff.
She just missed the bag.
So,
there's some perverts that will pay a hefty
dime. So let's talk some shitty Apex fights.
Okay. I had a couple more monologues prepared, but we'll save those for future shows.
Yeah, you've got to go. I'm selling my house again, if you guys want to sell it, it's still for sale. But we have a showing later, so I got to kind of get some shit ready to do shit.
Okay, well, let's
what do we have, producer Gabe?
All right, so let's get into it then. We got Muhammad Usman minus 135 versus Thomas Peterson plus 114.
I'll go on this because I know we talked before the show and you said that you wanted to talk about Luana and Lucy, which is the next fight. So I will talk about this one first.
I'm actually so pumped for that fight.
I know.
Oh my God.
Because Anderson Silva is here. And so I know that you want to talk and I asked to talk about it. You're like, hey, just let me do this. So I was like, oh, okay, fine.
People on our channel understand. We have the smartest listeners in the world. I mean, that just is what it is. The other channels, when I go there, I said it again. And I just kind of feel like, okay, we're in the space. Everybody's here with me. I said, yeah, the female Anderson Silva. The live chat went fucking crazy. They're like, who is this guy? Get him off the air right now. Female Anderson Silva, are you stupid? And then it just like, the little fire inside me just goes, I got him right where I want him. Right where I want him. Let's go.
Oh, man. Well, I have said, oh, my gosh, I got like a stomach cramp in my.
Holy shit, you're getting old.
Like, I know, I'm so old. What I was drinking right as we went, I think as we went on air was like electrolyte drinks. I've been cramping for days now. Like every muscle in my body is like cramping.
They keep sending us the big titty women to give us free drinks. That's great.
I know. This is what it's. So you want to be a fighter.
Kamu, you missed out. They just had a bunch of big titty chicks giving us electrolyte drinks. I'm very well hydrated for this show. I kept going back for more. Another one, please. They're like, you drank our whole stack.
We got Muhammad Usman, Thomas Peterson over here. What are the odds? Did you say the odds? I don't even know. Did we lose them?
Yeah, so we got Usman minus 135 and Peterson is plus 114.
I'm probably going to shit myself at some point in this podcast. I'm drinking this Vietnamese coffee. I'm a rumbling.
We're out of our sorts today. We just got done training. We haven't even showered. We're like
no soap in the shower. So if I show up next show with fucking staph all over my face. Hey, Big Bird got staph all over his knees.
Of course he did.
You were joking about it, but you weren't.
He was shredded up beyond. I was like, dude, you got to go wash that shit off.
Staph all over.
He's disgusting. He disgusts me.
Gross ass human.
He's gross. Peterson, who did he? Pogues. He fought Pogues last. Yeah. And Peter, first of all, his stand-up is bad. His stand-up isn't even the worst. That dude just likes to get hit. I don't know if it makes him feel alive or something, but him walking into Jamal Pogues was like, if Pogues actually had a little bit of power and would just plant some shit, that dude was like a speed bag. His head was wild. But
that's how he used to fight on the farm, I guess.
I know. But he like grabs hands and then gets hit for it and pushes people to the cage and can't do shit because of it and tries to drop to shots from the cage and can't do shit. But then from the outside, when he shoots that single leg, he can wrestle the shit out of a single leg. It is really nice. Gorgeous. His wrestling after that, if he doesn't get that or if he doesn't get that entrance, or if there's got to be a chain to do it, he's not getting it. But man, he grabs that single leg. We saw it on Contender against the shortest, fattest little T-Rex arms that you've ever seen.
That wasn't bad, though. He could fight for being so fat.
With the disclaimer for being so fat. But he had a hard time taking him down until he single-legged him and did it. But even that guy got back up, once or twice and did some stuff. That said, Peterson is not the worst. I think he was a 2-time Minnesota State champion and he wrestled North Dakota State. Usman was actually a Texas state champion before he transitioned to football. And I think he was over at University of Arizona, and then he, had NFL aspirations and stuff. Usman is not amazing. His striking is a little loopy and clumsy and cumbersome, but his cardio isn't like the worst. It's not. It's gotten better, and he's moving. It's fine. It's not like amazing.
He's on the Kamaru stack now.
Yeah, and his offensive takedowns, when he needs to use them, he can use them. And his defensive wrestling is not amazing. It doesn't look like he's done a lot of wrestling, but he knows how to wrestle a little bit. I think that we can really see. I think Usman is going to win, and the reason they're opposite stance. And that one of the best things for you people out there when you're looking at film or if you're fighting is the opposite stance, fake the shot overhand, or opposite stance, right hand, right kick, same side kick, because the distance is different. And generally, even if you guys are looking at me fighting, generally our backhand is going to be lower than our lead hand. And as people fake a shot, that kind of opens your head up. And the Usman fakes that and loops so big into that we just see that so often that lands. And I can really see that landing a good amount. And even if it doesn't like knock him out and put him on his ass, I think doing that enough and just striking enough, and just if he does get taken down, if he gets up once or twice, I think he wins that fight. So I don't think it's like a lot of these fights, I'm not going to tell you to bet the house on and stuff, because like, is Usman really somebody that you can really?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not.
So I like Usman. I think he wins. I think his wrestling is going to be good enough to defend a lot of the stuff that he needs to defend. I think these are heavyweights. Anything can happen. Usman can get one big shot, but Peterson, if he gets a takedown, could just lay on him and fat whale him. But I like Usman.
Peterson cracks also. He's big and just runs in and gets hit a million times, but he cracks also.
But so here's the thing with the crack. So he does, but he also gets hit so much. And Pogues is fast and moves, but Pogues is not a guy who's knocking people out. And I think Usman is the guy who's going to try to knock him out. And I think that can hurt him a little bit.
Well, though.
You don't think so?
No, because actually, when that Pogues and Peterson fight got announced, I text Big Bird actually, and I said, "Hey, Pogues plus 230. That looks very enticing. I will ride or die for Jamal Pogues. I love that
always
guy.
To the end.
His big fat belly, but he's got so much.
The fatter it gets, the more I'm betting on him.
And
well, not really betting.
I keep thinking that. Hey, check that out. ESPN, UFC.
Yep, I'm canceled.
He said it. The fatter he gets, the more that I like him. But at some point, you'd think he'd take his career seriously. The problem with him not having power is that he's a middleweight that's just fat, but he's got a lot of skills. I said when I text Big Bird, I said, "Hey, Pogue's got a great jab. He's got great takedown defense. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I think he's really, really good. I think he's going to be a nightmare matchup for Thomas Peterson." And sure enough, we saw the fight played out. This fight, I think, is different. I think that speed and honestly just the jab. That jab couldn't miss. And that's why you're saying, man, Peterson just gets cracked a million times, because Pogue's got the best jab in the division. I don't care. He snaps that thing. It's so clean. Usman's just a wild man. He's overhands and has no process, just kind of swings. And I think that's going to open him up for takedowns. I think that the fact that Thomas didn't quit in that fight, he was getting beat up by everything, and he didn't quit. That part is really important to me. At some point, I feel like he's going to get a takedown. He's going to be on top. He's got submissions on the feet. He will swing. He will throw down. We've seen Usman hurt plenty of times. I like the dog shot here. I like Peterson.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have Luana Carolina minus 115 versus Lucy Pudilova minus 105.
You really didn't look at this one? You really didn't look at this one?
No.
You really didn't?
No.
All right. I'm going Lucy. I'm going Lucy in this spot. Again, just like Jamal Pogues, I would die for Lucy Pudilova. I like her a lot. And there's a reason I say that. Her striking is not bad. It's really long punches. It's really snappy 1-2s. She's a very straight puncher. She's got kind of a good rhythm. She parries punches well. Like, I like her striking. And we see Luana Carolina, right? She won the last fight against Yulia Solirenko. And who was the fight before that? What was her name? The little French Aries girl.
Oh, sorry, Ivana Petrovic.
Yes. Petrovic cannot wrestle. And Stoliarenko cannot wrestle, and both of them were okay being on their backs. And Luana's kind of gotten to a spot where she's decently comfortable defending takedowns, especially against these shorter. Look at the body styles of those girls, like Lupi Godinez, right? That was a huge upset, even though it was difference in weight class. But Lupi is a power wrestler, short, stocky. Stoliarenko is like a shorter, stronger woman. And then same with that other girl, right? They're all none of them can really wrestle. The thing that I like about Lucy is she's a very long wrestler. You like to teach us that stuff where we're like long around the arms, or I'm sorry, around the legs. We wrap it, straighten our arms, and take people down. She's really good at bundling legs, wrapping, taking, and her top control is awesome. She's pretty nasty on top. For me, this fight comes down to this. Lucy Pudilova is the underdog here. I think that she can win minutes on the feet. I don't think it's a complete wash. With Luana and Stoliarenko, complete wash. It's not that close of a fight. That other girl, kind of okay everywhere, not good anywhere. And so, yeah, I would give Luana the striking advantage there. Here, I think it's a much closer fight. And then I think you have the grappling upside of Lucy, obviously, right? Lucy could take her down and control her for 3 rounds. She did that to Jocelyn Edwards, who has looked better and better and better each and every fight. Super athletic, thicker, bigger butt. I think I like Lucy here. Like, I just think you have more advantages. I don't think it's a wash anywhere. Might be a close fight, might be a little split decision, but give me the girl with the grappling upside. Nice volume, sharp, straight punches. I like it.
You heard it there, folks.
What you got to say?
Next up, Loic Radzhabov -118 versus Trey Ogden -102.
Initially thinking about this, I just remember Loic in his Rebeski fight. Gosh, just getting calf kicked and inside leg kicked, and then we saw how bad Rebeski looked. Who did he fight? Was it Diego Ferreira?
Yeah.
Was it that,
yeah,
you know,
killed him.
And, you know, where everyone's like, yeah, man, Rebeski is the best there is. And then that happens. So you're just kind of like, gosh. The Loic thing, I think stylistically, Rebeski beats Loic 99 out of 100 times. I think it's just a tough fight for him. The low kicks and then the wrestling and the power. Like, that's a very, very hard fight. But then you look at Trey Ogden, and gosh, we're always like, I think we've been higher on Trey, but watching that first fight in the UFC where he just got taken down right at the end, and you just like, gosh, fight a little bit. But he has a great jab, and he is so much better than we give him credit for.
He's an ultra veteran.
Yeah, and he's good. He's got a good jab. He knows when to mix. We saw him against Halah last, where he was just like, boom, getting the takedowns. He knew to wrestle him. He has good cardio, has good fight IQ. And he now has like a good Superman body. Like, he went from like frumpy to like, I mean, probably just changed the strength and conditioning program.
Yep. He's got somebody new. Yeah.
That's it. You know how that works. And then you have Loic, he's a good wrestler. He's a little bit of an ape in the sense where he's not overly technical, but he knows to just get in there and go. Like, he knows to fight and how to do it. My issue with Ogden is kind of the same thing with Peterson. He's really hittable, and he does have a good jab, but man, if you walk him down, he is going to get hit, and then he will shoot. The issue is, I don't think he can take Loic down.
I totally agree.
And so I think he's going to shoot. And it's weird. Loic won't offensively wrestle, but if you wrestle him, he will put you on your ass and like counter wrestle you and put you down. I mean, we, of course, with Esteban, of course, you know, took him down in that, but he generally tries to strike in. We saw him in his last fight with El Sawadi, moving and going and doing, and like is just patient and pressing and patient and pressing, and is just there and is just there and is just there and won't fuck off. And I see Loic just being there and just not fucking off and just forcing the fight, and Ogden getting smothered. The jab range is going to be great for him. Once Loic gets inside that jab range, I think he's going to get hit. Ogden is, and then I think Ogden is going to try to clinch and shoot and do stuff, and I don't think that's going to go very well for him. And so I think he has, just stylistically, has a really tough fight in front of him. I don't know that Ogden's going to get finished, because I think Loic traditionally is not a great finisher. We saw him finish his last fight.
Yeah.
But really, he's more of a decision guy, and he's one of those guys we talk about it. He fades, but he has this weird ability to just keep going and going and going. I like Loic here. I think I like Loic by decision.
Yeah, I played Ogden early got a good number on it. I think I got plus 150. And now the line is flipped. Producer Kamu, what's the odds?
Loic is minus 118. Ogden minus 102.
Okay, that line's been flipping and moving and doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, to me, this fight is completely just about fight IQ versus physicality. And like you said, I played Ogden early at plus 150, I think for like $500 or whatever the limit was at the time. And I can't wait to jump out of this play. I can't feel it anymore because I worried even in the last fight against Halah. I worried that he was going to get tagged up so badly on the feet and he's going to be shooting desperation takedowns because we do see it. Like sometimes he shoots from really far away and he is so slow and kind of predictable.
He shoots after he gets hit. And so he'll like somebody will hit him. He's not here in his hips ready to go. They hit him. And so he pulls them away and then he kind of goes and reaches.
And then he like pulls it in and finds it. And I think someone like Loic's hips are so good. He moves so well. He's so strong and physical. I agree with you. Like that's going to be really, really, really tough to get a hold of him. And then you just have these big bomb. Like, so I played Ogden early. I think I picked him on the last show, but I think I'm switching to Loic. I just think that physicality is just, it's way too much. And he is good. He does have skills. He throws heat on the feet. His last fight, he was getting picked apart by Al-Sawadi, but Sawadi moves better and he's got a bigger arsenal. And Sawadi can wrestle like crazy too.
I don't think he was like getting picked apart in the sense where he's just beating him up. It was like he was touching him and moving so much.
Yeah,
and
but
it was just a hard tracking, but he never looked like outclassed.
No, that's not what I said, but he was down 2-0.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a debate about that. He was down 2-0, came back, got the knockout. I don't think Ogden moves enough or has a wide enough arsenal. And then, he resorts to the grappling when things go wrong. Well, how do we feel that's going to go? So I'll be honest, I like Loic here.
Last thing that I want to say on this is I was looking at Ogden to see where he was training for this.
His own gym.
His own gym. And I see him drilling with Garrett Armfield, who's a 35er. And, some of the just other guys, Miles Johns and these guys. And I just don't know that, man, Loic is getting fucking manhandled by someone over at Kill Cliff. Yeah. Like just some big ass humans doing big ass human shit.
Kayla Harrison.
And I just see like that. I like Ogden's fight IQ from running his own gym and doing stuff, but I think the pressure of somebody that's not running their own gym, the physicality pressure, not the mental pressure of it, is I think going to be hard for him to deal with when he's not used to that.
All right. What do we got?
All right, next we got Miranda Maverick minus 218 versus Diony Barbosa plus 180.
Did you take that?
I actually did. So I want your thoughts first, but
why the hell you pick and choose your women's fights? This one's going to be so boring.
Okay, so why do I have to explain myself to you?
Because she was supposed to fight Miranda.
Yes, Tracy was supposed to fight Miranda. So I already knew what I was getting at with 50% of the film. So I only had to watch half of the women's fight that I didn't want to watch.
Didn't you have to didn't it make you puke having to watch a Brazilian woman?
Well, yeah.
Me too.
All right. What do you got?
I played Diony Barbosa. I think the line jumped to like plus 200, something like that. Miranda's good. I feel she's regressed a little bit in her striking.
Just everywhere in her overall fight game.
Yeah, exactly. There was some years ago where like Cormier got a thing for her. So, big boy, he got a thing for her. He was like, oh my God, her boxing. This is freaking Muhammad Ali in here. Oh my God, her boxing. Jesus Christ, her boxing. And she looked good in that fight. I can't even remember what fight it was, but it wasn't that level of competition, right? Now we've seen her getting out-dogged on the feet by Jasmine Jasovicius, and no bad thing. Jazz is a good fighter now. Like we just saw what she did to Fatima. Mav is good. She's a little bulldog. She seems like a weird body for the division. She's just so short and like wide.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. Called me SpongeBob so many times over the years, so hey, nothing wrong with that. All right. I just think the physics, it's going to come down to this. The first time that Miranda shoots, does Diony sprawl? That's it to me. Also, the thing is, Diony's takedowns are really unique. She doesn't just shoot blast doubles all the time. Like a lot of times, people will run at her and she'll hit a trip or she'll hit a judo throw. She mixes in her takedowns really, really well. And I think the physicality, I think the striking, there's a lot of factors that are going to go to her. In her last fight, obviously, she got real tired in that third round, but keep this in mind. When you think you're about to finish and you have a full rear naked choke and you're sending in, giving everything you have, you're going to be a little tired if you don't get it. And that's what happened. And she still found a way to win 2 rounds. I don't think Mav is that kind of high volume striker the same way that Ernesta is. I like Maverick. I think that very possible she wins like 2 out of 3 rounds. I think round 1 is going to be a tough round for her with Barbosa. Barbosa is just athletic, good kicks, good punches, just does everything pretty decent. I played Barbosa. I like Barbosa here.
I was watching this because I was very big on, I was DC. I was big on Maverick for a while. I really liked her. I liked the way that she was. I liked Maverick. I loved her early footwork. I loved her stance. I loved her striking. There's some very like tiny details in her movement, the way that she set stuff up. I loved her. And like you already said it, she's been regressing little by little by little. And I don't like her striking anymore. I think it's
once you start selling pickles, it's all downhill from there.
It's all downhill.
Feet picks and pickles.
Done. Next thing you know, she has an OnlyFans and she's out of the UFC.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having an OnlyFans.
So, she does one thing, and actually against Jazz, she was winning the stand-up battle. Not Peace and Jazz. Jazz has a cinder block for a head. I think you could probably.
She's like, so mean and nasty.
You could run her over with a car. I don't think you're gonna hurt her, but Miranda was winning the stand-up. Not anything crazy, but just by outpointing. Then Miranda, this is where you go wrong. Everything that she does is all a setup for that head to the outside single. And she's a southpaw against orthodox people. She tries to smoke it, and she fakes the shot, fake the shot overhand into the head to the outside, or fakes and then throws. And that's it. That's her entire game. And it's all predicated on head to the outside single leg. With Jazz, she kept the single leg. In wrestling, we call it a crackdown position. If you have the single leg and you ran it to the mat and you're holding my leg, but my other leg is free, all Miranda had to do is in that transition, bring her inside arm from the single leg outside. So as they fall, it would kind of be like around both legs to stop the hip heist.
Yeah, to catch it. Yeah.
So she hit that head on the outside. She sits. Jasmine is like, hey, let me just butt drag and hip heist and then put you on your back. And Miranda Maverick is turtle around ends. So Miranda is like, hey, I'm going to make some really good adjustments here. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And Jasmine was like,
try and stop me.
Was like, all right, I'm your huckleberry. And she did. Hip heist came up again.
She's pretty vicious.
And so in the 3rd round, coaching, this is where coaching comes in. This is it. The coach is like, hey, stop going head on the outside into that crackdown single leg position. No, they didn't. They didn't say that. And so she did it again. And the same fucking thing happened again. So fucking fight IQ is real. And
hey, somebody quote that, print this out, and be like, Santino calls out Team Elevation's head coaches.
You guys are assholes. But she just did the same thing again and again and again and again. And Jazz wrestled her whole life and is going to hip heist and do it. The thing with Barbosa, and so let's move on now. So first of all, Miranda can fight. She's a dog. She's going to fight shit to the bitter end. I don't think she has I think her technical abilities are better than that fucking fight IQ that just let her do the same thing again and again. She does know how to fight. She's good. Barbosa, when I was watching film on this, I was like, I don't really know Barbosa. I'm watching. They're like, oh, she was a Brazilian judo national champion and a Brazilian judo international champion. And I don't know if that means like there was a tournament, an international tournament, or if Brazil has different champion levels or something. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, okay, well, that's good. She's going to be fucking good. And then I watched Jenna Bishop hit her with a right hand and sit her on her ass. I'm like, what? And then like not get like.
But Jenna cracks everybody. She always does that.
Yeah, but she's slow and clunky and whatever.
Be nice.
So Barbosa, she's fast. She's athletic. She does so much stuff well. But at the end of the day, she's a judo girl. And when you shoot on her on the leg, she's falling over like a tree. And then she's staying on her back. She's not coming up and doing stuff. And if she scrambles and finds her way on top, she's good. But she is not educated enough on the leg wrestling to find her way on top. And I think Miranda is going to probably lose round 1. And then I think Miranda's going to start. Honestly, if Miranda does her head on the outside single into a crackdown, I think Miranda will win that situation against her.
She just can't get guillotined. That's the biggest thing.
She can't get guillotined. And Barbosa's jiu-jitsu is good.
She has some good jiu-jitsu.
She does. But I like Miranda here. It is short notice, ish, like 2 weeks ish or whatever it is. So Barbosa's coming up. I think this is a big step up in competition. Miranda is more experienced than anything Barbosa has ever touched.
She is like under Cyborg, and that's her main girl and main training partner. So that is some good, valuable experience. I think I'm kind of with you. Miranda wins the fight essentially, but I think the value to me is on Barbosa, at least especially
100%.
pre-fight. Yeah.
I think Barbosa is going to have some very good moments, and Miranda is just going to be that much more of a dog, more experienced, better leg wrestler, better MMAer, and
better pickles.
All right, next we have Brian Kelleher plus 164 versus Cody Gibson minus 198.
I am pinching my cheeks not to shit all over this couch.
Man, I am so happy to hear that.
My stomach is going crazy. I haven't even eaten anything except overnight oats. That's it. This is tough. All right, let's talk about this one. Show must go on.
And let me just say for the record, after that explanation, no, you cannot use the bathroom in my house afterwards.
Oh my God.
Like, you need to go find a Starbucks or something with the homeless people and ruin their bathroom.
You know what I do too? This is like, so I do sales for a living. I do in-home sales, right? Go sell them grass and shit like that. And one of the power plays that we always been taught is like, you get there and then you just be like, can I use the restroom? How many bathrooms do you think I shit in over the years?
Oh,
5 years.
A lot.
And how many times do you think I flushed it?
Probably 12% of the time.
I'll sell them a $20,000 package and it'll be like, check your bathroom, and I just leave.
Oh man.
Hey, come on, be serious.
Coffee's
guys.
for closers.
Guys, be serious. Be serious. Come on.
Stop.
Come on, quit it.
I
think Cody Gibson wins. I think Kelleher's washed. I liked Kelleher. Tried to make a case for him against Cody Garbrandt, but I think the dude's had way too many injuries, way too much stuff. He's just loopy and slow. There's always a chance he cracks Cody. But for him to work his grappling for 3 straight rounds, I think Cody's big, strong. He's super game. We saw him go tooth and nail with Ray Borg, which was a crazy fight. I think Borg is, although smaller, a better version of Kelleher, a way better version of Kelleher, better skills everywhere. I think Cody's, I don't want to say the side because he's, minus 200, but I like Cody to win here.
I can't wrap my head around this fight because both of these guys are so unpredictable in everything. And like Kelleher, he beat our guy Hunter Azure, but Hunter was winning every second of that fight,
beat the hell
and
out
then
of
just
him.
got fucking clipped with a left hook, and just like, what do you do? Kelleher loses to everyone who's good, and then he will, but he finds a way to finish shit, and he's got a good guillotine, and he's got some stuff. Thing with Gibson, man, is Gibson is 1-5 in the UFC.
Crazy, because he's so much better than that. It feels like
he just doesn't know how to win. He's super stiff. He's super clunky. His hands are not. He's like swatting punches. He's just bullying his way in. I don't know. Like, the only way that Cody Gibson wins this is a decision. I mean, I would assume, because he
I think he can put out Kelleher. Keller's been finished so many times now.
Yeah, but Cody Gibson he has no finishing power. He doesn't have finishing moves. He doesn't have jiu-jitsu. He doesn't hit hard. He's not even, I mean, his volume is predicated on just running forward. Like, I don't know like what he does. And then when he does shoot, he puts his head right in fucking guillotine position.
You okay?
Yeah.
I'm watching you, and you like, I don't know. You just sat back for a second and you just went, I'm just checking in, making sure you're okay.
No, I'm good. I'm exhausted. I've been on the go for like the last 3 days straight. I just got back from Vegas this morning.
I forgot.
Oh,
yeah.
So here's a sidebar. I don't know how much of this I can say. I'm going to start saying, and then you say more if you can say. So I will say
why we were in Vegas.
I'm just stop.
I'm going to say. I'm going
to say very limited.
This is one of the biggest podcasts in the world, so we do have to be a little careful what we say.
His brother has an amazing opportunity to do some amazing shit, and he brought his brother. I'm not even going to say his name because I don't even know. Like, you guys can't figure it out. Camuela, whatever his last name is, and his brother, whatever his first and last name are, went to Vegas. Camuela brought his brother up there, dropped him off. to some amazing stuff that will be released in a little bit at the opportunity to do some shit. And it's a massive, massive, massive exposure on the biggest outlet, scene, entertainment, everything on there is. And holy hell, is it going to be cool.
Yeah,
so that's
cool.
why he's tired.
And we went up there with our sister Shanice as well.
I don't know a
Listener
Sister
of the
Kirk.
Listener
I don't
of the
know
show.
a Sister Kirk.
Big fan.
Big
yeah,
fan.
I'm unfamiliar with this Kirk.
Well, it's time for me to start riding your little brother's coattails. Like, hey, dude, hey, man, what's going on? How you feeling today? Just start trickling in.
Just. I now need to be. Don't say his name, you son of a bitch.
How you know I was about to say Shanice?
Okay, well,
you don't need to know her name either.
Shanice
Then you
sounds
can
a lot
it.
like shut the fuck up. And anyway, that will be super cool when everything is said and done. And then I am gonna ride Shanice's brother's coattails.
Can I have a little loan? I have this business idea.
Yeah. Anyway,
Brian, like, man, Brandon's been so nice to me since getting back. It's been great. He's been so cool.
Anyway, Brian Kelleher, Cody Gibson.
How many comments do you think we're gonna get? Like, dude, these guys can't even get through one breakdown.
Dude, you watched him against Garbrandt. He was throwing that calf kick. Garbrandt's leg was swollen. He looked good. First fight after surgery. He had a beaver tail on the back of his head. That was weird to me. Cody Garbrandt hits fast and hard and does good shit. I'm going Kelleher for the upset. Fuck everyone.
I'm just avoiding this fight. I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah, I would never. You guys don't.
On either side.
Bet on Kelleher for the upset or don't touch it. But anyway, all right, next up. We got one of the 700 Koreans on here, and I don't even think we can talk about this one, but go.
All right, Hyder Amel plus 164 versus Jung Young Lee minus 198.
So Jung Young Lee is Korean Tiger who trains with us.
The second sexiest Korean that I have ever seen.
Who's number one?
He's on this card also.
Oh,
my boy.
Your boy. We'll get to him later. We won't, that which we don't speak of until we speak of him later. But Korean Tiger, all I'm going to say is he came here. He's 11-1. I think he's 11-1, right?
Yeah.
I am a good cage wrestler, and I always go with everyone as soon as they get into the gym to let them know what's up. Because
you're the enforcer.
I'm the enforcer. And because I need people to know I am going to tell you what I'm going to do to you, and you need to understand that I know what I'm doing. And
honestly, that is really, really important. And this is something that drove me crazy just about gyms I've trained at in the past. It is hard to respect somebody. Honestly, and I just mean this. It's hard to respect somebody that doesn't compete and doesn't train. Like, how the hell do I know that you actually know what you're talking about?
That's exactly it.
And we see so many fat black belts that like don't actively do anything. And I'm like, man, why do I have to respect you?
Damian Trainer says it all the time. He's like, hey, in high level fighting, I'm going to kick like this or whatever. And people are like, well, in training, I do this, or I always do this. And he's like, you guys, there's a big difference in what you do in the highest level live in a fight versus what you do in training. Don't come at me with your bullshit of what you do in training, because
he's got the best Instagram account ever.
He's done it all at the live level, and stuff is different. And so I could tell you in theory to do this and this and that, and I don't spar anymore. I don't have the chin anymore. My brain is shot. But you guys know, I mean, I used to spar with you guys all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, you were my number one training partner for the first 6-7 years. You were, at Siege.
Yeah. And I would spar and wrestle and this and that. And so even today, so I go with Korean Tiger, and I'm like, watch what I'm going to do, because I'm the fucking man. And we're doing some cage wrestling stuff, and I shoot in on him. That dude is a piece of steel. He is the most physical, like just strong human I think I've ever felt in our weight class, like 45, 55, like just
his body is insane.
Oh my gosh. First of all, Eddie Cha, was like, that's one of the reasons why he came, Korean, zombie and, all this stuff. So he comes, I'm like, he's massive. I'm like, Eddie, how is he going to make weight? He's bigger than our 55 pounders. I don't get it. He is so strong. It's insane. He is so physically talented. It's insane. His twitchy movement. He is amazing, man, on a physical level. Really good technique and technical level on really everything. And so that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like to get into stuff, but I was just shocked at how good he was.
Yeah, I nabbed him up
right
first
off
day.
the bat.
The very first day that he was here. Nobody like sometimes people don't lead practice, and sometimes I end up leading the warm-ups, and I'm like, who am I? I'm in this room with all these UFC fighters, so I'll lead it. And he was just kind of standing on the side, and nobody would like address him or talk to him. He's just sitting with the guys that he came with. And then I was like, hey, let's go. So me and him started drilling into school. His shirt off. It was hard for me not to be aroused. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. His shirt is off. These tight little shorts. I'm like,
well, dude, we all know how you feel about them Asians.
I know.
Oh yeah. My Asian girlfriend, she's a little worried that I'm dipping into the other, conquering the other Asian nations.
Yeah.
Right? We start drilling. And he just every time I shoot on, I'm just, oh my god. Let's shout out Steven Lim.
Okay.
I just know him by MMA Kehoe, but he's the one every time we go to Vegas, he always is so accommodating to us, takes us to his restaurants, his coffee shops. But he actually messaged me and he said, this I thought was really interesting. He let me know that, or was it you, that he's never had coaches before, like coaching or training partners? Let me see. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
yeah, don't say anything.
No, he just said that he wanted to go to Fight Ready because of Eddie and because of you. He loves you, by the way. I think he watches the show maybe. And he was just like, dude, he's never had like training partners before. He's never had like real coaching
structure
before,
and everything. Yeah.
At all. He said he's basically just been in the gym, just training by himself. So for as good as he is, to have no structure at all is really, really impressive. So
I actually, with all of the Koreans on the card today, there's 4 of them, 2 of whom have done some time with Zombie in his, their camps. And then Turtle. I think Korean Tiger has the highest ceiling of them all on this card. I'm so big on him.
Well,
He's
yeah, because
amazing.
Superboy has already been around the block.
Those guys have already done so much. So anyway.
Oh, my stomach is on a timer. All right, let's go.
All right.
Next one.
All right, next we have Bill Algeo -166 versus Duho Choi +140.
This line's dropping like crazy.
I'm gonna go on this one just really quickly. Is Choi was coming off a long layoff, and with his Korean military experience, and then fought Kyle Nelson. And I remember him looking way worse against Nelson, and I remember it being a draw, but I forgot it was he got a point deduction.
Yeah.
So he won that fight other than that. And Kyle Nelson has been on a tear lately, just beating people who he just should not be beating. It's nuts. That said, though, I think stylistically, I like Algeo here for the upset.
It's not an upset. He's favorite.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So,
but the line's been coming in. I think Algeo was at some point like -220, and to me, I was like, that's a little rough. But now -166 is a little bit more enticing.
Yeah. I think just with the movement and the style, Choi is a good jiu-jitsu guy, but his wrestling's not great. We saw that his wrestling is kind of where he failed in the Kyle Nelson thing, and then he would turn. When he gets on top, he did a great job on Nelson. You get on top of Senor Perfecto. I mean, dude's going into like, he's going to get up. He's going to move. He's doing all the right stuff. And for as good as Choi is, he doesn't have that power of Nelson to like physically bully him around or
the style. He's too
patient. Or the style. Yeah. And man, for nothing more than brevity and to kind of get going and moving because we have a lot more stuff to go. I really like Algeo here for the decision win, volume, movement. It's hard. Algeo is not a phenomenal finisher, but I think I like him here.
I totally agree with you. And, it was hard for me to look at this, especially after both their last performances, and be like, Algeo -200, play it. But Algeo -166, like, starting to become a great line. Just Superboy is too patient. Kyle Nelson will stay in your face and just keep dogging you out. And then he cracked Algeo, and that's what happened. And that was like a huge upset, and it was a whatever finish, whatever. Superboy sits back, and he's got these short little arms, and he'll fire, and he's fast when he does fire, but he's just patient. And he's going to, what I feel is going to happen is Algeo is going to pop that jab and start the movement and start his swag. And I think Superboy is going to be chasing and just falling into this rhythm that Algeo always gets into. I think Algeo is going to go right back to ultra vet status where he was before. Don't forget, look how good his wins of age, like beating Brito, the way that he beat Brito.
Yep.
Like all his wins of age well. The dude can fight his ass off. And like you said, there's no grappling advantage against Algeo because his jiu-jitsu is so good.
And his MMA jiu-jitsu is even better on the cage and hand fighting and knowing to get up.
Stand-ups, submissions. He's great. So I go Algeo here.
All right.
All right, cool. Next, we have Cody Durden -120 versus our boy Bruno Silva +100.
So I'll talk about this. I don't like giving picks just because it's weird. Bruno he's trained with me since numerous fights before he was ever in the UFC. I've been training Bruno forever. He has since moved to American Top Team recently, where this is a weird thing about ATT. Durden is down at ATT. Bruno is at ATT. So they have to just train at different times and then hope that nobody explains and says everything of what's going on. So it's just a weird thing.
Honestly, though, who cares? Like, they both have access to film. Okay, Cody Durden is going to wrestle. Bruno is going to strike. Like, who cares, you know?
So the thing with Bruno is his striking is so good. People don't realize, like, his timing and his rhythm, and he hits hard, and he does so much stuff so well. Sometimes he'll get bullied around against like bigger guys. We saw him. Who did he fight? Big Russian.
Tagir.
Stuff like that. So we see there. Bruno's offensive wrestling is good. His defensive wrestling is good. I think his actual weakest areas is jiu-jitsu. I think,
which is ironic.
Which he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but I think in a jiu-jitsu match, I could actually see Durden winning a jiu-jitsu match, whereas in a wrestling match, I see Bruno winning. Like, if we're doing just one takedown and the winner stays in, Bruno wins. If we're doing, hey, it's a 5-minute go, now I start to like Durden because that motherfucker won't stop. He's going to shoot and reshoot and come up and shoot again and then throw some punches and shoot. And he breaks people with his pressure and doing stuff. And I think that's going to give Bruno a lot of trouble, is not the technique, but the pressure and the wildness. I think the chaos of Durden is going to give Bruno the hardest time. Can Bruno handle the chaos? And then with Durden, everybody knows he's going to shoot, and they know it, and they know it, and they know it. And then he comes up swinging punches. And so you're so fixated on the shot that the strikes land, and then the punches go, and then he goes and he's in and out. His back control is really good. And I think we saw him with, who's the Brit that came with us? Hadley. I mean, that was just such a good performance right there. The difference, though, is Hadley doesn't have the wrestling that Bruno has. And I think Bruno should definitely. What are the odds on this?
Bruno is +100. Durden is -120.
Wow, that's interesting to me. But I think Durden has got to be able to get in the chaos and get the fight to the ground and steal some minutes in that sense. Whereas Bruno has got to like defend the wrestling, create some space, and snipe Durden as he comes in to go. And I'm not giving picks on people I've trained with for a long time. But anyway, that's
I've trained with Bruno for a long time too, man. He's the only guy to like.
Hey, feel free to give a pick. Like, you're not me. You're not his coach. You're that. I'm not worried. I just don't feel comfortable doing stuff like that. But
I feel comfortable. I picked Bruno in this spot. Man, his striking is really, really good. His wrestling has gotten really, really good. I was saying, like, as a 18, 19-year-old, I used to be able to take Bruno down, jump on his back, and finish him. And I was just like, that's all I could do. I like standing with him. I was like, hell no, I'm desperate. Let me just shoot and be that. Then he started training with Henry and working at Valiant all the time and working his wrestling. And then somewhere he just got really, really, really good. And then he mixed it with his jiu-jitsu, and he's really good. It's weird because Cody wins so dominantly sometimes, like 30-27s, but I feel like his margins can be really thin because he's not doing a lot of damage. It's mostly all control. And kind of like we talk about, I like these matchups where it's wrestler versus grappler, kind of, but Bruno can grapple.
Well, it's grappler versus it's control versus damage.
Yes.
And that's what it comes to, whether they're grappling or whatever. It's control and
Durden
damage.
does get tired, and he admits it. Like, man, I got tired. And I think that if Bruno does like one or two things, one or two stand-ups, and he gets back up, calf kicks him, hits him over the top, like, he wins rounds. Yep. And so I played Bruno for $1,000. I think I got +120 or something like that. So
Bruno's best thing is he does this. We actually call it, the Bruno combo. As he goes, he jabs high, he jabs to the collarbone, and then that right hand snipes.
That's what
down
caught
the
me.
middle.
He flash KO'd me like that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that.
All right, next up.
All right, next we have Kurt Halah +110 versus Kanan Kruszuski -130.
I don't know what I think about this. I don't know what I think about Kruszuski. We saw him in his fight against Elvis Brenner, and he's in a Muay Thai stance, but boxing. And so he's just marching down.
Square, hittable. there.
Yeah, just marching and going, but he does hit a lot and he does do stuff well. And then you have Halah, who is just a dog and a good boxer, but cannot stop a takedown to save his life.
He stopped a few against Hubbard. That's the one thing. So I said this on the last show. If the Ogden fight and the Hubbard fight were switched in order, you would be like, man, Hubbard's going to be minus 400 here because Hubbard's going to wrestle him and get him down and he'll never get back up.
Yeah.
But in the Hubbard fight, right, he did get taken down, I think, the first round. And then he was defending takedowns. He was seeing things well. He was keeping him off his legs and then just beat his ass. And then he goes to the Ogden fight and just, I'm not even going to try.
Lays there. Yeah.
It was
insane.
crazy.
I haven't seen enough of Krzyzewski to say much. I mean, I watched his Contender Series. I watched his last fight. He got hit over the top, and he's just marching it down. But Halah, the one thing he does do is he mixes angles and punching and highs and lows and body, whereas Krzyzewski is just so Muay Thai. And man, when he comes in and throws, he throws, and it is good. Kind of reminds me almost of C-Rod's 1-2s, where it's like big 1, big 2, and if they land, they hurt. Halah's throwing straight, and then he'll go around and then go to the body and loop stuff. He's 37 now. Krzyzewski's not like a spring chicken. He's 33 or 4.
He's a little he's a little soft.
He is a little soft. His wrestling, I don't know if it's amazing, but Halah has the jiu-jitsu as well. I lean Halah here, just because I'm not overly educated on Krzyzewski. Again, I've watched what I've watched. But Halah is such a, Halah does not have wins in the UFC either. That Hubbard fight is his first UFC win. And so you're just looking, and that's the thing here with the Gibson one, Cody Gibson one, and with this one too. These are guys who washed out of the UFC. And they got back in, both of them, on The Ultimate Fighter because they weren't winning fights on the UFC. And you get a guy like Hunter was in the UFC as well, and he was on that show as well, but he went 2-2, and his last fight was a split decision loss against Jack Shore. And so that's a guy who has wins in the UFC. And then Gibson is like, what, 1-5 or whatever he is, and then Halah is the same, like kind of the same thing. And so I really don't know if Halah should be in the UFC. And I think Halah should win, and stylistically and this and that. And then there's just this, like, we talk about aura, where it's like Krzyzewski, like, I don't know him well enough, and
he's got no aura. Don't worry about that.
No, and it's not the aura, but it's like he took that Elvis Brenner fight. But Brenner has the aura, and
Brenner got some weird aura.
Brenner has some aura, but I don't know enough yet about Krzyzewski to say, is that a guy that would just fight to keep himself in the UFC? Whereas Halah, I cannot count on him to keep himself in the UFC. Even like a Kelleher, who's fighting Cody Gibson, and we say, oh, he's washed, he's this, he's that. At least he's 8-8 in the UFC. He stayed in the show. Yeah. And that is something. And to stay in and to fight your way in and to do this and to not lose to all of these guys, that is just something. So I think Halah wins it, but I wouldn't put $1 on this.
I actually think I want to play Halah like a fair bet.
Okay.
I just think I like his boxing. I like how I like and I don't like how he crashes the pocket a lot, because he is so close in range and he feels comfortable, but one day someone's going to tag that chin. So honestly, I think fight ends by KO is probably a great play here, because either he crashes that pocket and pressures Krzyzewski and kills him, or he gets caught coming in. If
it's KO, I think you have to go Halah, because I was looking at his record and he's durable. He's not a guy who's getting finished a lot.
Yes, but I see that style it's going to happen one day, because he's just charging in like this, and he's good throwing his offense. Most people are shying away, but if Krzyzewski just stays in there and meets him right there.
And Halah moves his head just out of the range, and at some point, somebody's going to be 2 inches closer.
Right, exactly. Yep. And I think he's a little taller. I think fight ends by KO. I like Halah here. I can't trust Krzyzewski to put together a 15-minute wrestling game plan. I don't even think that's in a Brazilian's blood to just lay on someone for 15 minutes, right? You got to put that dick on the table and swing it out.
Always.
Yeah. Right, I got Halah.
All right, next we have Steve Garcia minus 142 versus Sungwoo Choi plus 120.
I'm going to let you start on this, but the only thing is soy.
Do not call him soy.
soy.
Soy Choi.
I am soy milk. He is Choi milk. The only reason why he's a dog here, right, is the liability of his chin.
Of course.
Right. I mean, like, we're just so
and him spamming left hooks over.
Yeah, let's just get that through right now. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, that's exactly why I played Choi. I played it live on the last podcast. I put like 1,500 on Choi. You're getting the better fighter at dog odds on the liability of a chin, but they both have chin issues. And Choi can fight 15 minutes. Steve Garcia, just with his style, I love how he fights. But for me, it's Steve Garcia round 1 KO, or that's it. Once Choi settles into the fight, he's a much better technical striker. He's got good takedown defense. Like, he legitimately has such good skills, but constantly finds a way to fumble every freaking time. It drives me crazy. But, look at the Jarno Aarons fight. Like, he did get rocked in the Jarno fight, but Jarno's nasty striker.
Yep.
And you see Jarno just won his last fight. He's going to keep taking steps up in competition, so that win is aging well. I think Choi is really good. You're getting the better fighter at dog odds. How could I not? And the other thing, too, is Garcia keeps winning these fights based on guys who are trying to grapple him. Melky and Shilan Nerdebecki, those are both grapplers that don't have a lot of striking, tried what they wanted to, and then the new round came out, and he was like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
Killed him. So it's going to be a difference in style, a difference in everything. I pray to God that Korean Zombie has Choi stopping the left hook spam. That was probably the worst he ever looked in his career, is once he moved to Killcliff. And all he was doing is left hook, left hook, left hook, and Trezano killed him. Yeah, I like Choi here.
They said, so his last fight against Jarno was with Zombie. And one of the things that Zombie said was that he was very good, but he didn't really have like game planning. He was just trying to go too much and swinging and going.
No shit.
And he's like, so we tried to settle him down. And you could see that in that Jarno fight. And actually, the only thing that landed on Jarno that actually sat Choi down was like a lead uppercut. Like, he just jumped in with it and went. And
but you can see a couple minutes into that fight, into any fight of his, he starts with a game plan, and pretty quickly he's just like, nope, back to the old me.
I want to go. Oh, let me at him. And you're like, just hold on. Choi's technical striking is so good. Holy shit, is it good? His chin is bad. Technical striking is good.
I don't even think his chin is as bad as, like, we talk about this a lot. You get hurt when you're trying to kill somebody else. Yeah. And everything with Choi is, I'm going to try to kill you. And then you just get hit at the same time.
He does have that left hook. What's nice, though, is actually how he sets that left hook up. It's beautiful, because he doesn't check left hook. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. And what I mean by that is, generally, like on a check hook, your stance will be here, and you're going to like loop and go backwards. He actually will, he's narrow. If you guys can see me on screen, our other camera cord broke, so we can't get close up. So that's why we're doing the wide right now. We have to switch our cord. As he throws his jab, and he doesn't stay narrow as he exits, like a lot of people do. A lot of people throw the jab. They want people to jab back so they can pull and fire the right hand, okay? What he does is he throws his jab, and he pulls himself square. So now as people come in, he's loaded for the left hook right there, as opposed to the right hand. And then the other thing that he does is he'll prod and poke with that right hand. So he's narrow. He'll poke with that right hand. And then as he pulls square. And so the left hook is loaded as he goes. So it really is a gorgeous way to set up that left hook, to where he's not having to loop over and swing and check hook people in a traditional sense. It's almost like a lead hook, like he's stepping in and loading and following. Really is really nice. He also has good kicks. He also has a good jab. I'm wondering anyway if Steve Garcia is a southpaw, so that alone is going to limit a lot of his ability to throw that left hook, which I think it'll actually be good, because I think if he fights for it too much, it's not going to be there. But Choi also has a good right hand.
He does that left hook to the right straight, and he's so clean with it.
And I think if eventually, as the fight gets wilder, I think Choi's left hook will find the position.
It's sharper for sure.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, like, Steve Garcia is getting hurt. We saw him drop by Nuremberg. And then he's beating up grappler Melky game plan. When he went against Maha, who can punch, he was sat down fast.
Oh, yeah.
And Choi can punch as well. Now, you guys are going to clench your cheeks harder than Brandon is right now on the couch.
Do you hear my stomach? I'm worried that it's going to get mic feedback.
Because that chin is a freaking liability. But Garcia gets hurt and rocked and everything as well. Give me the chin for chin. Let's go the better technical striker.
We could go chin for chin. We could go band for band. Like the song.
Yeah,
the song.
You go clinch for clinch. All right.
Hey, that was my last Instagram caption too. So now I got to really be about it. I said, give me Sungwoo Choi money line for the limit. And it was a picture Kamu took of me in Milwaukee. I was like on the phone. I was like, hey, take a flick of me trying to look cool. I was actually talking to you though. I was actually talking to you about the weight cut. And I was like, he took a picture of me and I posted Sungwoo Choi for the limit. So let's run it.
Let's go.
All right, cool. In the co-main, Brad Tavares plus 136 versus Jun-Young Park at minus 162.
This is a weird one stylistically because I'm a big Park fan.
When he can get takedowns, and the takedowns are going to be tough here. So now we're talking about a kickboxing match. You have one guy who's plus 80, one guy who's like minus 200 in a kickboxing match.
Yes, and Park is what is the line?
Park is minus 162, Tavares plus 136.
Yeah. And so I like Park when he can get the takedowns and ride the back. We saw it in the Eric Anders fight where Park just kept pressing and shooting, controlling, and then Eric would shoot and not be able to get it and volume and this and that. Now, Park's volume is good. His cardio is really good, but his power, he's not hurting people with his hands. Tavares, who isn't a huge power puncher, but has good enough. He's good everywhere. And he's hard to take down. Like, you don't see Tavares just out wrestled a lot in these positions. And I really think that stylistically, if Park, how does Park win? Volume and then pushing him to the fence? Because if he can't get the takedown, I don't know that he hurts him with punches. And so then it's just like a spam bot, and can he spam enough without getting hurt?
And then those fights, you take the plus money. I kind of like Tavares in this fight.
So, yeah, I think it is absolutely risky. Tavares is older and has not looked great lately, but man, I think on a betting level, considering all things equal, give me Tavares, who you know what you're getting. He has good stand up. He has good power. He's hard to take down. He's an ultra vet against a guy who is very good at what he does in a stylistic manner. But if he can't get it, I don't know if he will be able to win.
I asked this on the last show. I said, if this were just a straight kickboxing match, what would you line this fight if it was straight kickboxing?
Yeah. Oh, you're going Tavares.
So now if Park can't get
minus 250.
Exactly. And so,
well, no, hold on. Even before we do that, on a straight wrestling match, you go Tavares as well.
Well, we've never even seen Tavares offensive takedowns either.
Yeah, no, you haven't. But if it's not even, it's like, how long does it take Park to get a takedown in just a wrestling match? It's like, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to happen in a cage and like there. So
it's certainly a different style that, again, this whole fight card to me, like the theme of it is the styles, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these lines are predicated on like recent performances, but the styles are, look at Steve Garcia. He's fighting grapplers that are trying to hang on to him for dear life. Now he's fighting a striker and he's the favorite, it's all styles. So for me, I like Tavares in this spot.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Well, producer Kamu's like sitting here. He's about to like go crazy if we picked Park. I see him here like, oh, you better pick the Hawaiian. Like he's just sitting back here antsy.
He was about to quit right then and there.
No, I'm good, man. You guys agree with my pick, so I'm happy.
I was gonna ask, you don't have any allegiance for your Hawaiians, huh?
No, we're all in agreement here. All right. So main event, Coach, you want to give us a Fight Chalk promo?
I don't want to give you a Fight Chalk promo, but I'll do since you said it. FightChalk.com. All the lines, all U.S. books, because nobody wants those offshore books where you can't
Laotian
deposit.
books.
Yeah, like Laotian, Southeast Asia, Macau books, where you've got to get your money out via crypto, and then you got to send it through 28 carrier pigeons to get over there, and you can never get your money back. But U.S. books, DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, all on FightChalk.com.
No Laotians with machetes will come chop your legs off if you don't pay.
Jeez, man.
Just the IRS is the same thing.
You guys have got to take my analysis with a grain of salt on this one. Do you know why?
I know you're a loyal man.
Yes.
You are a loyal man.
To a fault.
But if Amanda Lemos showed up at your door and she knocked on it and said, Santino, it's time. you would let her bend you over
and do whatever she needed to do to make time
She'd
correct.
peg the hell out of you. She'd lube you up, peg the hell out of you. So go ahead.
I love Amanda Lemos. Is she 50 now?
Honestly, she's coming into range of where I would be more attracted to her. If she gets 55, I'm in.
She gets another couple years older and you won't be able to turn her down.
God damn.
Right now, she's still a little too young. Not enough gray hair, not enough wrinkles, not enough kids.
Oof.
But in due time. So I don't know that she's going to stop Jandiroba's body lock takedown. I mean, Jandiroba has such good grappling. Her top pressure is great. Her jiu-jitsu is great. Her stand, she looks like a Fraggle Rock. Like, she looks like, if you guys ever go watch Mr. Deeds. Have you ever seen Mr. Deeds?
Is that the one where they take the crowbar on his foot?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, and he has a guy, it's Steve Buscemi is the character Crazy Eyes. And Crazy Eyes' eyes, Verna Jandiroba is Steve Buscemi from Mr. Deeds. Look it up, tell me I'm not correct. So even her stand-up is like just so wide. Her stand-up is like her eyes. Like, she's punching left and right. She can't throw straight to save her life. It's like, which way is my left eye looking and going? But it's awkward enough to like make shit weird to where you're like, oh, what the fuck is she looking at? Ah, she got me. And then she's grabbing you and you're confused because you're looking at what she's looking at. And man, but she gets you body lock on that fence and goes, and she's dragging her ass into deep water. But Lemos is physical. She does know what she's doing. She's got a couple wins in a row. And she just has that clean boxing. The Andrade loss.
Fluke.
Like,
no, not really.
I don't know that it's a fluke, but I don't know that it would happen again out of 10 fights. You know what I mean? So there's that. I got to go Lemos here for just having two straight eyes and understanding that what she's punching at. And just my love for, I cannot go against Lemos.
Understanding what she's punching at.
So I got to do that. I cannot go against Lemos. I won't go against Lemos.
Can you be serious for a minute? I know every podcast is going to talk about Jandiroba's eyes. Have some respect.
I'm sorry. I really like the way that Lemos sets up her punches and they're nice and clean, and then she'll move away. I think on the fence, she's gonna really have a good time of like fighting the wrist, scooting out, and not getting stuck there. So, for that reason and only that reason, I think I'm gonna go with Amanda Lemos here for the win.
Great analysis, Santino.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was working very hard at that. I'm sorry I got sidetracked a little bit, you guys, with her eyes.
Is it my turn?
It is your. Would you please explain?
Okay, I will speak my opinion if you're ready for
quieter.
Okay. I think 5 rounds is a major thing here. I remember, oh my God, I've been drinking a lot lately,
which I appreciate more in life.
I really never drink, and in this whole like last week, I've been drinking like a lot. It's funny. I remember a long time ago.
Hey, look, man, when you are drinking Asian coffee, when there are Laotian women with machetes, like the only thing for you to do is to drink like rice wine. Oh,
dude, I'm all in on the Asian drinks. It doesn't hurt my stomach so much. I get super drunk, and then I don't even understand the machetes. It's like toys.
Yes.
I got drunk, and I bet $1,000 on Lupi Godinez round 2-3 KO. It was like crazy odds. It was like plus 1,800 or something like that.
That's if you guys want to do. Here's some good financial planning advice. This is legal financial advice right here. So always follow this to a T. When you are betting fights and you're like, hey, let's bet some fights. You're like, all right, I'm going to put some money down. This is what I told Brandon when he first started. Okay. So he was like, hey, I'm betting and this and that. And we had, Warley Alves, we came over, we watched film, and I said, all right, go have your picks, have your bets. And then like you do everything pre-fight. And then as the fights go on, if you miss or you lose, just drink more alcohol and then start chasing all of the dogs. And then the more you drink, the better your fight analysis will be. And that's what you realize.
Tunnel vision. Yeah.
Yeah. You realize like, hey, I'm fucking hammered right now. I'm going to go make a lot of bets. This is a really smart decision. Anytime you're thinking of making a decision, always do it after a couple of drinks. And that's generally the better decision.
I did get drunk last week and then we swept bare knuckle. I made like 10 grand. I was like, whoa, where's all this money come from? But when I'm actually sitting there studying, I lost 30 G's. I'm like,
hey, for real though, Kindle and I on like numerous houses, have like been like, oh, well, even when like the first house we actually ever rented together, we're not even married yet. We had a appointment to go see a home, and it was like, we're kind of like driving around from home to home. We had like an hour or something in between homes. So we stop at this like little wine bar, and we have a couple glasses of wine, and then we go see the home. And we were like, this is amazing. We loved it. We signed like next day, we're like sending our application. We get it. We go into the home and we're like, oh my gosh, like I don't remember. There is like an animal smell. It had like an old oven that was like in the wall still from like 1967. The kitchen was turquoise. We lived there our next 2 years.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
All right. So don't do that. But I did get drunk. I bet Loopy round 2. I was trying to get to a point here. Round 1, Loopy was tagging her. And I said, oh, we're cooking. And then you can see Verna getting a little slow, a little tired,
looking a little left and right.
I was like, hey, everybody, it's all on me today. I was like, 18 grand I'm about to make. And then Loopy starts pulling heel hooks and doing stupid shit. 5 rounds is going to favor Lemos. She fought hard until the end. I know she got killed by Wei Li, but she fought hard until the end. Verna's going to slow down at some point. I think Lemos has the jiu-jitsu to hold her off, make her tired, avoid her. And honestly, all it's going to take is one big punch just to make Verna hesitate just a little bit. The fact that Lemos is a dog. See, the problem is I understand what the read is. Like Verna can get her down, submit her. She's got really good top control.
She is sticky.
She's amazing on top. Yep. She's great. She's a great jiu-jitsu girl. We talk about her all the time. But I like Lemos, scrambly, annoying. She just went against Mackenzie and she did fine. Mm-hmm. And who won that fight? Mackenzie won, right?
No, Lemos.
No. When she fought Verna. Verna won. Who won that fight?
Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Anyways, I gotta go. I like Lemos. I think Lemos is gonna get the knockout probably in. FanDuel always does.
Mackenzie won.
Okay. Yeah. FanDuel always does the things, the rounds 2, 3, 4. I think that's the sweet spot I'm going to hit. I don't think it's making it to the 5th round, but I think that, maybe Verna can blow herself out in the first. So rounds 2, 3 KO, 2, 3, 4 KO for Lemos is probably a great spot. So I'm going to play it. And I think I put $1,500 on Lemos money line.
Bye.